Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blank and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC TV show podcast brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Priscilla Welch. Welcome all. This is my very first show today, so I'm so happy to be with you here. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend and happy Monday to all. I know Mondays can be rough, so take the time to just relax after work, school, whatever it is. We are here and we did it. So we will be covering a lot today, and I have a special treat for all of you out there that are listening. Today, I will review the 7 black sitcoms on Netflix. Yes. So please stay tuned for that. And of course, starting off with our first today, I would like to start off with Amazon Prime's Hanna. Okay, so I hope you all are ready, because when I talk about Hanna is one of those coming-of-age TV shows dealing with teenagers, young adults, kind of all ages. It's very diverse, which is what I love about the show. And especially if you love action, if you love anything with assassins and a corrupted government, I mean, this is your show, okay? So please, patience, okay? So first, to begin with, if you have an Amazon Prime membership, you'll be able to watch this show basically for free. Of course, you have to pay for your Amazon Prime membership every month or so. But it's not one of those cases where you go on Amazon and you have to either rent or buy. The show would already be loaded as if you're just watching like something on Hulu, something on Netflix, for example. Okay? So first things first, I definitely want to introduce the cast to Hanna. So for all of you that are not aware of the show, it is played and starring Esme Creed Miles, who plays Hanna. We have Mirelle Enos, which is Marissa Wiegler, and she's like also one of the top women that is in this show, okay? And then we have Joel Kinnaman, who plays Eric Heller, and of course, Yasmin Monet Prince, who plays Clara. Now, but starting off with season 1, and of course, I am not going to give any way towards the show. So basically, what I'm saying is, I want you to go out there and watch it for yourself, but it's very interesting. So first of all, Clara doesn't come to like towards the ending of season 1, but as some of you may have heard of the show, she does have a big role in season 2. So proud of that. Then, of course, we have, again, it starts off with Hanna and her father. Basically, watching the show, like, they live in the woods from season 1. He's teaching her different things about how to live, how to survive, and they kind of do like a little bit of flashbacks of what is going on with Hannah's life and everything, and of course like who her father really is. Of course there is this government association that kind of keeps tracking them throughout the series, and you will see that a lot in season 1. Then of course we have different episodes that leads up to you have to have that twist, okay? So again, it's one of these shows where you really have to like sit down and watch. You cannot miss an episode, else you will be lost and you probably will have to start it all over again. But think of shows like, let's see, that has like a lot of action in the background, jumping out of helicopters. Like if you like things like Mission Impossible, or if you like things that has to do with assassins going to different countries and maybe like, I don't know, killing someone because it's on this list or whatever the case may be. This is usually like your type of like forte when it comes to trying to find something to watch. And of course, it's thrilling. Like, it's something that will have you at the edge of the seat. It's not really romantic or anything like that. It kind of shows like different sides to everything. So of course, every show has, you know, the bad guy, you have the protagonist, the antagonist, you have the good guys. What I like about this show is, even though you would think that the person that is already set out to be the bad character against the good one, like good versus evil, again, you don't really get that a lot from this show. So it's almost as if like, oh, well, right away we expect this character to be the bad person, but then it's a whole twist. Like, good and bad could come from anywhere. Sometimes in a lot of these shows that we watch, there is always like the bad person, and then come out to the end, they end up turning good, or the good person that you thought all along that was fighting on the right side, or at least to our judgment, I should say. You know, then you find out like they're a dirty cop. You see where I'm going with this? So what I like is that these young characters, it's about them. And even in season 2, like, we get more in depth of what was really going on with this like secret government association that had to do with, sometimes there's programs out there. I mean, obviously, like, maybe people like the military or the government like knows about, and the regular like public, regular society, we don't know about it, of course. So there's a lot of underground, and again, I can really, I think, relate to Hanna. I mean, if you really look up to your parents, it's one of those shows where they're really close, okay? And I think that's very, very important, because it's, again, you definitely don't want something in a show where you start off, and I had this happen to me so many times, where I will start a show, I'll watch the first episode, and it's almost as if like you're picking up a book. But like the first thing I always used to do whenever I, you know, would read, would be reading the back of the cover. I mean, who does do that? So it's the same thing with a TV show. You definitely want to watch a trailer. And what I like about, for example, like Netflix, okay? And again, we will be talking about that a little bit more later in the show. But as you're going through Netflix, you're sitting at home, you're watching TV. You look for something on Netflix to watch. Let's say that's just your go-to, right? Or it could even be Amazon Prime, because of course that's what we're talking about now. But you're sitting at home, or, I don't know, maybe you're just chilling in your car and you're eating Wendy's, okay? You're going to watch the trailer. Am I right? I know I'm right. You're going to watch the trailer first. We all do it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And you see a little glimpse of what the show may be, and you're like, okay, this is not for me. No. But some people, maybe I have one of you on here, that would actually go ahead and maybe watch like the first episode, watch the first few minutes, maybe just read like the description of the show. I have to do that because there are certain genres that everyone likes. So again, if you love anything with action, with thriller, with a twist, with betrayal, violence, this is the show to watch, people. Come on now. This is the show. Now, just to give you a little sneak peeks and stuff like that, I don't want to break down the character too much. I really want you all out there to just give this a little time with the show and everything in the background. Again, just think of it this way. A daughter, a father, running away from the government. She's learning how to fight. She's learning how to survive in the woods. again, she gets friends along the way, but we don't see that again until season 2. But these are a program where women were trained from birth, and they were basically taken away from their real parents and used as weapons. I mean, how manipulating is that? It's crazy. I mean, I look at it this way. When I watch shows, or when I, just trying to pick a new one, or maybe rewatching a show, I always have to basically sit there and put myself in their shoes. I think that's more fun to do as well. And I think it makes a big difference. Else, how can you really connect to the characters that you're watching on the show? It's impossible. I mean, if I can't connect to a character at all, especially with Hanna, and again, I feel like this is a very important show to watch because Amazon Prime is also stepping up their game. I mean, there was a time where I literally was like, okay, I have Amazon, usually you just do shopping on Amazon, like, admit it. But then Amazon starts with TV shows, but not just putting any TV show that you probably will see on a different app or a different website, but literally their own original shows. And you start to see more in that lately with Netflix, with Hulu, Crackle, Pluto TV. There's so many apps out there. And it's no wonder people don't want to use cable anymore. It's crazy. So we see a lot, again, of adult assassins or government related, but not ones with young teens, like taken away from their homes and their families. So of course, it's almost as if they're trying to use like blind droids or robots, and it's so easy to manipulate someone that way. I mean, how many movies, and not to really get into genre movie, this is a TV show podcast, people, but how many movies have you seen where there's always some type of female assassin? I feel like lately, and again, that's really what this show is trying to put out there. I feel like lately we're seeing a lot of TV shows that empowers women, even movies. And I think that's amazing because in some ways, I would rather watch the female assassin than the male assassin. But not to be anything with gender, I have nothing against men. I think it's awesome that there's men assassins as well. But again, guys, you really, really, really need to see this show. I mean, whew, like, I wish I can, like, fight and punch and kick and do all these different things. And then it's so creative how they're making these shows now where you have like these little gadgets. Like if you liked movies like 007, for example, James Bond, then you're definitely going to like something like this. You definitely are. Like there's no getting away around it. So definitely give it a watch. Again, if you have Amazon Prime membership, this is the show for you. Right now, the first 2 seasons are out. Second season just came out, I believe sometime over the summer. I made sure, of course, to watch that right away. So please, please, please give that a watch, okay? And then, of course, after the break today, we will be talking about my next segment, of course, is Moesha, coming back to the 90s. Y'all, so stay tuned and definitely keep a listen to that. Again, if you were interested in watching Hanna, watch it on Amazon Prime. It's 2 seasons out right now. You don't want to miss it, okay? I mean, it's the bomb. And again, wait till the end of the show. We will be giving out all the 7 Black top sitcoms from the 90s to the early 2000s, okay? Like, Netflix is really doing its thing, and I can't not wait to talk about it with you all, okay? So thank you. Come back after the show. And again, Prime membership, 2 seasons. Hanna, please watch. I mean, I cannot express this enough, how much longer, but you don't want to miss it. It's bad. You hear me? It is bad, okay? All right, y'all. We'll be back, okay?
Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Welcome back from the break, everyone. Hello again. Thank you for listening to the GSMC TV show podcast today. Thank you so much again. So if you're now tuning into the podcast today, we just finished talking about the Amazon Prime's TV show, Hanna. Love that show. Again, go ahead. If you have Amazon Prime membership, you can watch the first 2 seasons right now. Please do it, okay? So, and of course, I can't forget, I have a special treat again for you guys coming up later in the show. I will be revealing the 7 black sitcoms that Netflix just did a deal with, okay? And of course, now we will get into Moesha. Woo! So for those of you that heard of this show, that means you were growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s. You were probably already past your teenage years, or actually were a teenager. Or you could have been a parent. Doesn't matter. But this show is a must watch. And it's actually one of the TV shows that Netflix recently just went ahead and bought the rights of. And I think that is amazing. So Moesha is one of those top 7. And this is another coming of age TV show. So what that means is whenever you're going through puberty, whenever you're going through boy problems, girl problems, you're trying to figure out your identity. It's your first time getting a job. It's your first time maybe getting a car. You're in high school. I mean, hello, can we all remember our high school years? This is the show that you want to watch whenever you're dealing even with real life problems, whether it's family, whether it's relationships, whether it's friendships, school, work, everyday things that come up, whether you're in the workplace, whether you're at school. I mean, sometimes this show reveals also a lot of hard topics, like maybe interracial relationships, for example, as well as what it's like being black in America, especially a black woman, a young black woman coming of age. And the show was actually one of the top shows in the 90s. She basically is located in Los Angeles, California. And what I like about the show is we get that representation of the different races and the different diversity. And there's a lot of different people that made appearances on this show. Even Gabrielle Union. I know some of you out there have definitely heard about this wonderful actress. There's so many different things like that. It's amazing how when you go back and watch like these old TV shows, you kind of see where a lot of actresses and actors kind of like where they started out, or exactly like little projects that they did before they actually had their big break. I think that's amazing. So the full character's name is Moesha Mitchell. Basically it ran for 6 seasons. Later on at about season 5, season 6, her brother Ray J. Now I know all of you know who Ray J is, okay? So basically her younger brother comes on the show and actually does get a recurring role later on the seasons. And at that point, Brandy, which is actually the singer and actress that plays Moesha. I know you all know Brandy, okay? If you don't, well, you better Google it, okay? So basically, this is actually Brandy, kind of where she got her stardom. I mean, she was actually she grew up in the spotlight. So it's one of those situations where she started off young, but she never thought, and I remember this interview that happened with, Rolanda. Rolanda is a very old, TV show that came out also in the, like, 90s and was very popular. And this is when probably, like, the first, like, when they were still going through, like, the first couple seasons of the show. So the characters that played Kim and Hakeem and Miles is actually plays Moesha's younger brother. Hakeem plays one of her best friends, and Kim plays the other. Now, all of you may also know the TV show, The Parkers. So what happens is the Parkers actually aired right after Moesha, okay? And it's the same character. And I guess what they wanted to do was kind of show Kim's life after the show had ended, because at that point they were all in college. So I thought that was really cool too. So that's something cool that I wanted to share with you all. Like, if you never knew that, and maybe you probably watched the show before back in the day. So of course, again, the character is Moesha Mitchell, Hakeem, Kim. She had also a few boyfriends. As a matter of fact, I also want to shed some light on this. Kobe Bryant was actually on this show a couple of times. He actually played a student. And a lot of people don't know this, but Brandy and Kobe Bryant actually went to high school together. They actually went to their high school prom as well. And I think that's very interesting. Again, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. That's also why I wanted to bring it up. If for those of you who didn't know or understood, like, their relationship, for example, because I do believe Brandy did come out and shared, like, you know, her thoughts and her feelings, of course, after the basketball player had died. So I definitely want to shed that light here today. Again, you can now basically understand. So, like many teens, basically, Moesha is just trying to find her place. That's it, you know, and I think this is the perfect show to do that. So at every turn, her friends and family, they experience new challenges, new situations. Of course, lots of drama is involved. So basically, it's like that old school versus new school. And you'll notice as you're watching the show that a lot of times, I mean, when we're growing up as teenagers, we think we know everything. We think we know what's right. And sometimes we have to go through our own experiences and our own rights and wrongs. Our parents, you know, they could be there for guidance and everything. But at the end of the day, like, everyone has to experience things for themselves. So I think this show really reflects on that, and they're not afraid to talk about so many different topics, especially that goes on today in the world. Not to get political on you guys and not to preach, but it's a good show, okay? It's a show where you can watch with your family, you can laugh, you can hug, and you can share your thoughts and experiences of what you went through as a teenager as well, if you were one of those parents that talked about the show. The crazy thing about this show is they also did a recent reunion on The View. I know all of you out there probably know or heard of The View before. And basically what that means is they did like just like the cast members. It was Ray J, it was the young man that played Miles, it was the man that played Moesha's father, her mother, you had her other friend Nisi, and Kim as well. And they basically talked to a few of the cast members of The View. And this is not their first time. Of course, when you are on a TV show, there are a lot of times where as a cast, you will go out there and you will be interviewed on these different TV shows that people watch every day, whether it's the morning, afternoon, or the evening. So basically, Rolanda Talk Show is one of the interviews I actually watched. You can actually watch it on YouTube of the Moesha cast and how they started talking about the show when it first started. I think that's something like maybe if you've never seen that interview before when it happened live that you can go back and watch. Same thing with The View. Now, The View, I tried to find the full episode, but I still can't. on YouTube. So maybe one of you can give it a try. But of course, what's weird and something else I want to bring to light about Moesha is it's almost as if like there's this curse that happened. So like some of the stars that died actually like in their prime when they were on this show is the man that played Hakeem, the man that played also one of Moesha's boyfriends, Ohaji. He was actually in the first season. You may have remembered him as the young man who was also a rapper back in the day. He was actually on the Steve Harvey show. And also the young man that played Q. They all died pretty young, whether it was getting shot or whether it was getting into a car accident. I believe the young man that played Hakeem, he got into a car accident. I think he left behind like 2 kids. And Q and Ohaji, I think since they were in their prime, I think they were the ones that got shot. The people are very jealous out there. But it's crazy how, you know, when they were on The View and when they were having their conversation, you can see how everything that they experienced on set or whether it was in their private lives, they're really like a family. Like, I am not trying to like exaggerate, but it really teaches you and it's really, really inspiring. And I know, of course, like when a fellow cast member probably dies, like it really does affect the show. And I don't think it's easy, you know, especially in anything with the entertainment world, anything with broadcasting, acting, singing, music, whatever the case may be. But definitely, y'all, like, this is a show that you want to watch. We are going through a lot in these trying times during the pandemic. I mean, during so many movements that are happening. So definitely watching a coming of age show for all the kids out there who are dealing with like these new norms, like you have a perfect example. And honestly, it doesn't matter what race you are or anything. Like, this is just a show to watch and to have a good time. I mean, when is the last time that you thought of a show that really just focuses on being a teen and trying to figure out your identity? I mean, we have a lot of shows, of course, like that now, but I just think there's that certain spark when you're watching a TV show and it's literally, you know, how do I explain it? It's literally something that speaks to you. Now, it's not just something you could just brush off. Like, this is the show you want to see, y'all. I mean, me personally, I was born in 97, okay? And I watched this show, like, of course, like, when I was a little older. But it's almost as if, like, Moesha was still 16 years old. Well, Brandy was still 16 years old. And I was kind of, like, learning of how she dealt with her experiences with boys and everything. And it really helped me as well. So it doesn't matter if it's old school. It doesn't matter if it's new school. Watching shows like that really does help, because you never know what you may be going through until you see like another side of it through somebody else's eyes. So I think that is really cool. And again, you can watch this on Netflix. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Again, Netflix just did this deal where you can actually watch this show. I mean, as soon as I found out, y'all, I was on there. I mean, I'm kind of like going through like a few episodes that, because I'm not going to sit there. Honestly, I don't sometimes have the time to like literally watch it all the way from the beginning. But like, I started watching it from the beginning, from like the first season. And then it went right into kind of just skipping around. But it's a good show to watch. You must watch it. It's amazing for all you teens out there who are trying to figure out who you are and your identity. Like, it's entertaining. It's funny. It's just awesome. So go ahead and give that a watch. And again, after the break, we will be talking about up next, the Proud Family on the reboot that should be coming up on Disney Plus soon. So stay tuned for that, okay? And again, coming up later in the show, we will be talking about the top 7 Black sitcoms that will be coming up on Netflix since they bought the rights, okay? So thank you again for listening. Again, after the break, we will be talking about the Proud Family reboot. I mean, there's so many reboots that are going on, but like, this is another show that is coming of age that you don't want to miss, okay? And of course, for all my Disney fans out there, Disney is making that come back. I mean, not like Disney never not for nothing like that, but if you love Disney, put your hands in the air. I mean, you cannot love it, all right? So stay tuned after the show, y'all. Thank you for listening.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back, everyone, from the break. I'm your host, Priscilla Welch. Again, thank you for tuning into the GSMC TV show podcast. Woo! I hope y'all enjoying yourselves. We are now in the middle and halfway through our show. So if you're now tuning in, basically we have been studying about Hanna, which you can watch on Amazon Prime. The first 2 seasons are currently out. And also we just finished discussing before the break the 90s TV show, black sitcom that was just amazing. It is now on Netflix. You can go ahead and give that a watch. And if you're not sure, if you never even had Netflix before, well, now's the time to get it, y'all. Okay, now is the time. So, how y'all doing, man? I mean, this is Monday. How are y'all doing? All right, well, and now I have something pink and blue, and as bippity bop, bippity bop, bippity boppity blue. It's Disney Plus, y'all, I'm talking about, okay? It is Disney. Now, I don't know if a lot of you have watched, who am I kidding, who didn't watch Disney growing up? Come on, Disney Channel, Disney XD, what were you doing? Huh? Maybe you've been to Disney World. How about a cruise? Everything. Think of Minnie, Mickey. Oh my gosh, there's so many. The beautiful Disney princesses. I mean, I remember when I was young, I wanted to be one. Yes, I did. Woo! Okay, y'all. Let's get real. Now, so far, there has been so many different reboots that are in the process, that are in the making, and some of them have already happened, of course. So I am, of course, excited for, drum roll please, the Proud Family. The Proud Family. Yeah. Y'all remember that song, man? Oh my gosh. I just remember like Saturday, like morning, Saturday afternoons. What? When that song used to come on, I was just in here in my room like, And of course, for those of you who don't know actually about that show, it actually aired 18 years ago. 18 years, y'all. Okay, I'm 23. Y'all do the math. 18 years. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I mean, this is like mind blowing because it's literally like you can see how so much has changed. I mean, especially when it comes to TV shows, so much has changed. It's amazing. It really is. So, of course, The Proud Family is another coming of age TV show. They talk about some difficult topics, difficult situations. It's definitely a TV show that you can watch and definitely like learn from, which I love. But at the same time, it's fun to watch. I mean, Oscar Proud, y'all, like, of course, plays Penny Proud's father. And of course, for those of you who don't know, this is a cartoon, actually. So basically, Disney Plus revealed that, you know, when it first came out last year, I mean, I was one of those first people that downloaded it. I remember the night when I was downloading it on my phone as well as my TV. Basically, there was like a glitch. Like, I remember when everybody was first downloading Disney Plus, there was actually a little glitch because so many people were on there downloading. And for those of you who are not too familiar yet with Disney Plus, I mean, I could only imagine who doesn't have it by now, but it's almost been a year since it came out. And if you have Verizon, now I don't know if any of you know this, but instead of you paying the actual fee, if you have Verizon, okay, and that is what you use for, you know, your phone calls or whatnot, you can actually get Disney Plus for free for a year, and you don't have to pay anything. Did y'all hear me? So I would advise, if you have not done this yet and you are a Verizon member and you use that to take your phone calls, your text messages, whatever the case may be, okay, you definitely want to call Verizon and let them know that you need your Disney Plus app. And it's going to be for free, y'all, as long as, I think somehow I'm not sure if there's any like extra charges or anything. Like, I don't think there is. I know when I did it almost a year ago that it was more like either they added on something extra with the account, but at the same time you get it for a year for free, and then I think after that you pay like $6.99 a month after the first year is done for free. So that's a deal that they did with the Disney company. I think that's amazing. And correction, Disney is not really just a company, it's actually a conglomerate, for those of you who don't know what conglomerates are. But basically they're one of those conglomerates that basically, like, they have more than one thing going on. They don't just have TV shows. I mean, they have a whole park, okay? They have so many things that they own. I mean, for those of you who probably didn't even know, but Disney actually owns Hulu. Disney owns Marvel. Disney owns Star Wars. So pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. And ESPN, for all you sports fans out there, okay? So just a little knowledge that I want to spit on y'all. Yeah. So basically, again, it's been 18 years and it's kind of really emotional, but I actually found a source. It's actually called Cartoon Connect on the YouTube channel. And this this subscription actually basically revealed like the new like costume and character designs for the show. And I think that's really, really cool because for years, for those of you who are fans of Disney and of the Proud Family show, it's been years since we all wanted this reboot, and I'm glad it's finally happening. And so they revealed like the costume designs, like everyone's much older. I want to say that maybe the characters, and again, it's Kyla Pratt who plays Penny Proud, and then you have her other friends, La Cienega. She was like the girl with the red flower in her hair, dark black hair, always wearing red and blue. Hispanic family. Then you have Dejanay, another black family, had a lot of brothers and sisters. She had the blonde hair and was always running after Sticky. And then we have Zoe, who was the Caucasian, and she also, I believe, had kind of like a reddish type of hair and some freckles and glasses. So it was pretty cool to see on this subscription, Cartoon Connect, on YouTube. If you want to go ahead and look it up for yourselves, the different character designs and everything that was revealed and how they're much older. I want to say maybe they were in college, or they're probably about done with college, or maybe they are done with college because they were grown and they were all like in a car driving together. And of course, if you remember the Proud families, like her mom I think they changed her weight just a little bit to show that maybe she just gained weight over the years. As well as her younger brother and sister, Cece and BB. They were the twins, her younger brother and sister on the show. And they got maybe a little older. So I think they're making it like they're like maybe like between the ages of like 5 and 8 years old, because I saw just like a little bit of picture in the background on this video. But you can go ahead and see it for yourself and figure out if you want to address like, you know, your own opinion. So basically we have a surprise though, okay? So those of you who know Keke Palmer, okay, now this is another one of my favorite actresses. She actually is going to be a new character on the show. So yes, you heard it here first, folks. Okay, we're adding a new character to the Proud Family reboot. Okay, and I think that's amazing because it's kind of mixing the younger generation for this generation right now, the millennials, and then you have Kylo Pratt, who was 18 years ago in that young generation when she first did the show. So it's kind of cool to see two different generations, even though like they're both still pretty young, but to see how it can reflect as well in the show, like the different views and opinions and diversity. Oh my gosh, it's just rich. It's beautiful. So I think they're also rebooting the show at a very convenient time. Again, with everything that is going on in the world today, and again, not to be political, but this whole theme of this entire show, if you have not realized it yet, as so far listening, that it's perfect to have all these coming of age TV shows because we need more of it. And I'm glad that shows like The Proud Family that shows diversity for young black men and young black women. And again, this has nothing to do with race, but sometimes the representation is there, and I'm so happy and proud that Disney is going out there and doing it. It's just amazing. And again, who doesn't love Disney? Like, Disney is doing their thing. Y'all jealous, okay? All you other conglomerates out there, y'all are jealous, okay? Like, this is the show. This is the show. And again, it's really cool because we are heading back to school now. Like, I'm in college, so I can understand the feeling. Trust me. I went to high school as well, so I can understand how you may be feeling, maybe the anxiety of getting back in there, getting back into the schoolwork. It's crazy. So you definitely have to get all your supplies together. I mean, everything is so different this school year because it's like some students are able to work from home and then others have to actually go back into a physical building during the pandemic. How nerve-wracking. So we definitely need our entertainment, and TV shows are it. TV shows will literally, depending again on what genre that you watch, or if you just never usually watch this type of show, go ahead and do it. I mean, it's cartoon. It's funny. It's something that will lift you up and entertaining. And it's something you can go ahead and talk about with your family and your friends of the different issues that they will talk about on the show. Of course, if they keep that same flow going like how they did 18 years ago when they first aired. So, again, bippity boppity blue. And y'all just take the time to even, just sit down and watch it with your family, your friends, your significant other. It's just an amazing show. It's just an amazing show. I can't remember. I know for a fact, though, that they also had a Proud Family movie. And that was also very interesting. That's actually when Penny herself had finally turned 16. I believe when the show first started, she actually was the age of 14. So that's what I'm trying to figure out exactly what age she is now. I'm hoping maybe 20s because I want to see that different level of, because now that I'm in my 20s, I would think since I kind of grew up with the show in a way, even though obviously her character was older than mine when I was growing up. But it's a lot of similar things. So again, finally, y'all, we are coming up to later in the show where I will finally review the other 6 sitcoms that Netflix bought the rights to. Yes, you heard it here first, folks, okay? So far, we have revealed that it was Moesha, and you can watch that on Netflix. So you better get that Netflix password and account, okay? And again, on Disney Plus, if you haven't had it yet, again, if you have Verizon, you can go ahead and get it a year free before you have to start paying $6.99 a month. Unless that changed, of course. I don't think it did, but go ahead. You definitely want to let your phone company know that you want to watch this show, okay? And you want Disney Plus. So stay tuned after the show. Again, this is the GSMC Network TV podcast, and we'll be back after the break. Thank you.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Thank you. So if you're now tuning in with us, again, my name is Priscilla Welch. And of course, today we just finished talking about the Proud Family reboot that is happening on Disney Plus. I don't think a date has been revealed yet, but hopefully that will be coming soon. And of course, now the moment we all have been waiting for is, drum roll please, yes, it is the 7 black sitcoms that Netflix bought the rights to, okay? And apparently a lot of fans that are always watching Netflix, apparently this has been a long debate. I heard that they wanted to see more diversity on Netflix, and I think they also wanted to see not only that, but just more TV shows that we're so used to watching, from back in the day, or shows that we are not able to watch on the other apps like Hulu or Pluto TV, any other show. And this is true. I actually was one of those people, and I didn't realize that a lot of people have actually petitioned for this. But sometimes, a few years ago, before we even found out this news, for example, I've mentioned earlier in the show about Moesha. That's something I used to watch just to get the advice or the real life experience, or just to watch something entertaining or funny, because I felt like watching something that I'm used to. You know how sometimes, say okay, for example, it's summer. Okay. I noticed that especially if you still have cable TV, that they will do a lot of reruns of a lot of old shows like Martin, Friends. And not just the summer, sometimes it can happen any time in the year. But I noticed, for example, mostly in the summertime, it's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is Will Smith's show from back in the day. So I'm so happy that Moesha was one of the first ones that they actually put on Netflix. And here are the other 6. They're making really history, in the making, and it's amazing. Another one that you can actually watch on Netflix right now is The Game. And The Game that is about basically football players and who their wives are, and who is kind of their, again, the saying goes, behind every black man is a strong woman. And The Game is kind of a little bit of that. There's this drama, there's betrayal, there's to see who gets more sponsors, who gets paid more as a football player. There's a lot of different things going on. And what I liked about that show, I didn't finish watching all the seasons, but again, it's on Netflix now, so you could go ahead and do that. But I do know, and this is also going back to Moesha again, that Brandy, I think, played on the show for one of the characters. I am not too sure again, who she was. But I think she started dating someone, and I think Lauren London as well also was on the show for a little bit too, like later on in the further seasons. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, but the game, I think I watched like the first season, and Tia Mowry, if you remember her from Sister Sister, is actually on that show. So that's pretty cool. She's actually being advertised on 2 of these shows, as well as Brandy. So you have the game, we have Girlfriends. If you are a big fan of Tracee Ellis Ross, okay, those of you who've maybe watched the show Blackish, the female lead that plays the mother is actually Tracee Ellis Ross, aka Diana Ross's daughter. Yes. And she was in Girlfriends. I know she was one of the lead females. Then we also have the Parkers, again, going back relatable to Moesha. And we have Half and Half. I don't remember the show too well. It's not really like actors and actresses that I really kind of kept up with over the years. But that is also a good show. And One on One. Again, we were talking about before the break, the Proud Family TV show on Disney and the reboot that's going to be happening very soon. I just don't think they dropped the date yet. But One on One was actually Kyla Pratt's show, and she was one of the female leads on that. She was actually, I'll start off with her since that's like literally one of my favorite shows. This show was actually aired in the 2000s, I think like early to like mid 2000s. And basically she moves in with Flex Washington, who is her father. And I think he was a kind of like a reporter, like a sports reporter, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And she moves in with him, and basically she was still in high school at the time. So again, this is another coming of age TV show that you can watch. And it's just her going through these real life experiences and anything to do with young men, young women, her friends, relationships, her and her father's relationship. They were pretty close, excuse me. He was always calling her like daddy's little girl. So I think that was so cute. For those of you out there that can also relate that are daughters. So it was a pretty good show. It had a good run, and I think it's very important that we are watching more and more coming of age TV shows. Then Girlfriends was more like, say you get older, or even now, like if you're going through college and you're living with a few other roommates, and you guys are you ladies, even men, okay? Like if you're living with your roommate, and this is more like a show that you can relate to if you are out there trying to still not really find yourself. You kind of know what you're about already, but at this point, you're not maybe married yet, and maybe you're just out there like dating, working like a regular job, or you're starting your career. It's all about like if you're getting your promotions or not, or if you're actually having a social life as well as your personal life with your friends and your roommates. And I think the way the show went was they were all kind of best friends as well on the show. So that was pretty cool to watch growing up. The Parkers follows Kim Parker and her mother as well, played by Monique, for those of you who are not aware of that show. And the woman that actually played Kim Parker, and this is also going back relatable to the Moesha TV show that I was referring to earlier in the show, how the interview that they actually did, the Rolando talk show back in the day, I do remember that the woman that plays Kim Parker, she is also a singer. And I'm not sure what happened with her singing career. I know she ended up getting a child and everything as well. So I don't know if she kind of like put it aside and everything, but she didn't make it as big, obviously, as Brandy. So it was cool though when she finally got her show. Monique, who plays her mother on the show, was a mom that was going back to school. She just wanted to finish up her education and go to college. But the thing is, she ended up going to the same school as her daughter. And basically they were going to college together. And it was all about Kim still trying to find herself. She wasn't really the smart one of the group, even on the Moesha show. And you see that a lot as well with her new friends in college. Her mother, of course, I think kind of knew what she wanted to do, but she kind of just did it later in her life. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, this is another example even of not just coming of age and being in college and trying to figure everything out with work and school, but also I'm really glad of the representation of a lot of young men or older women and men and young women that are parents and they want to go back to school. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're one of those people and you were always thinking about doing something like this, like, this is 2020, y'all. I mean, you can go to school whenever you want. If you have the money for it, if you don't have the money for it, like, there's always a perfect time of when things happen, or things always happen for a reason. Okay? That's why it's always good to put good karma into the world. So, we also have Half and Half. I don't remember too much about that show, but I wasn't really that much of a big fan of it. But basically, Netflix raided the former UPN network's library. Because that's exactly the network that used to air these shows. And they finally bought the rights to these 7 popular sitcoms, okay? And again, like I said, Moesha, you can watch that on Netflix as well as The Game. But I believe like Sister, Girlfriends to Parkers, and Half and Half and 101, they're coming out a little bit later. So I'll let you know this right now. So you have the first 3 seasons of The Game, which ran for 9 years in total, by the way. That's going to debuted on August 15th, okay? And then Netflix acquired the 3 seasons of the Black comedy. It aired on a CW before it moved actually to BET. Did not know that. Okay. So then starting September 1st, which is like right around the corner, we have Sister, if you remember, with Tia and Tamara Mowry. Okay. And that was another coming of age show that was in the 90s and it was very popular. And basically it was about these 2 twin sisters who were separated at birth, but somehow they found each other. And I kind of remember like the first episode where I think they saw each other at the mall and they were like, oh my gosh, you look just like me. Oh my gosh, you look like me. And I think they did like some type of like DNA thing and they found out they actually were sisters and not just the fact that they look like each other. And I think before that, they didn't tell their parents right away. Like Tia's character was with her mom, the dad adopted her, and then Tamara's mother was with, I believe, the father. He had Tamara, her character, and then I think eventually on the show, both of the parents that raised them single. Later on in the show, they actually got married and it became like one big happy family. So it's like a really cool show to watch or rewatch if you've never heard of it before. Or if you did watch it back in the 90s, then this is something you definitely want to watch. So then we have, okay, again, like I said, Girlfriends, which is the lead for Tracee Ellis Ross. That also ran for 9 seasons. There's a total of 172 episodes. And it's actually one of the longer running live action sitcoms because of all like the fame and press that they were getting from it. And the Parkers, Half and Half, and 101, they actually are going to debut in October. So we still have like a little month and some change to actually go ahead and start watching those shows on Netflix as well. And then the Parkers, which is basically, as I stated before, it's a spinoff of Moesha, and that starred Monique. And then we have Kim Parker as well. That also ran for 3 of those series. I can't remember too well, honestly, how many seasons the Parkers had, but I think it was like 3 or 4 seasons. So, yes. Okay. So, Moesha was August 1st. The Game, season 1 to season 3, August 15th. Sister, September 1st. Girlfriends is September 11th. The Parkers is October 1st. The Half and Half, October 15th. And 101 will be October 15th as well. And by October 15th, basically all 7 of these shows will be on Netflix. So, I mean, it's finally here, y'all. You got the information from me. And if you didn't hear it from the first time, here we go again. Moesha was on August 1st. It's already there. The Game, season 1 to season 3, August 15th. Sister, I got my own mind. Okay, y'all. Y'all know that song. September 1st. We had Girlfriends, September 11th. The Parkers, October 1st. Half and Half, October 15. 1-on-1, October 15. You heard it here for the first time, folks. Netflix doing its thing, y'all, okay? They're doing its thing. They bought the rights, okay? They bought the rights. What y'all gonna do? Nothing. I just hope they do more and more of this. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of TV shows out there that you probably haven't watched in years, and you're always trying to figure out how can you watch it besides watching on cable TV, especially if you don't have cable anymore. Who does cable? I mean, come on. Who does it? So, again, it's like ever since I feel like Disney Plus came out with, and not just Disney Plus, but like, it's like ever since all the Disney Plus came out, it's like all these different apps like Netflix and Hulu, they want to do different projects now with like all these other like companies that used to air these TV shows. That's what I started noticing, because I think they were also talking about like doing a big deal with Nickelodeon, Netflix. So I think it's very important as well to showcase Black sitcoms like these shows. Like, we have waited and wanted this for years. Again, like I said, not all 7 are up yet, but by October 15th, they will be. So again, you can go ahead and watch Moesha, end the game right now, and you just have to wait for the next couple months for the rest to come out, but it's very, very soon that they will be. So again, thank y'all for an amazing night. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday night. That was the big reveal. You heard it here first, y'all. Okay? I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And again, like, this is just amazing. Like, I still can't believe Netflix is doing this. Like, I can't believe it. But go ahead and watch Moesha now and watch the game if you haven't seen them before. Okay? All right. So, now to just wrap things up, again, enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. I thank you for listening to the GSMC TV show podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I would like to ask that you please remember to subscribe to the show and write a nice review. That really helps us. We really appreciate you listening. Also, if you can please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you, and have a good night.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts podcast network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts podcast network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.